Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is May the 5th. It is a Tuesday today. Overall markets, as you can see, gapping up here in the pre-market. Qs back at our all-time highs. SPY lagging behind just a little bit. As you can see here, we do have some more earnings tonight with AMD. That's going to be the big one. We had Palantir yesterday. We also have SMCI. We have a couple other names to talk about coming into market open here, of course. Before we head on to the news and economic calendar, what's up, everyone? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Good morning, Victor. Good morning, Lament, Andy, P1, Nina, Maria. Good morning, B Roots, Knight. Good morning, Jean. Good morning, Juan. What's up, everyone? Gerald, Chris, Robert, Ann. What's up, Sam, Alejandro, Jay, Wakey, Andrea, Z Norris, Maria. Yeah, what's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Let me pull up the economic calendar. We do have some news, as I mentioned. We have some earnings. Overall markets end up dropping yesterday. We had a little bit of news midday. Overall markets now are recovering, right? We kind of rejected off our previous day highs, came all the way down in towards our key levels, which is our previous day lows. And now you can see markets are back at our previous day highs here. So as I mentioned, kind of talk about this here in a second. But as you can see for the news coming up, let's go on to the red folder news. We do have some at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be your ISM services PMI, along with the JOLTS job opening. And then for Wednesday, we have the ADP non-farm enrollment change, Thursday, unemployment, and then of course, Friday, we do have some more red folder news, which is going to be unemployment rate, non-farm enrollment change, and then the prelim consumer sentiment here as well. So this is what we have for the red folder news events. Let me pull up the earnings calendar here as well. So some of the notable earnings that we had yesterday: Palantir after close down a little bit, decent earnings, dropped a little bit towards the downside. We'll kind of talk about that here. Duolingo, pretty big drop. As for today, Shopify in the morning, I think this one's down about 10% here. PayPal, and then of course today we do have AMD. That's going to be the big one. We have Light, that one's been hot. SMCI is one to keep an eye out for here as well. So these are the main ones coming into market open. Of course, tomorrow, ARM is something to keep an eye out for. Some of the semis, APP, and then Uber in the morning. And then, of course, we have Thursday, Iron, CRWV, and we have a couple other big ones as well to keep an eye out for, right? Even Coinbase is reporting on Thursday. So at least for today, let's keep an eye out on AMD. This is going to be after close along with SMCI. It's going to give us a little bit more guidance with, of course, some of the semiconductors. AMD is up about 90 or I think 80% in the past couple of weeks. So this one's continuing to show some strength here on the higher time frames. As for the Qs coming into market open, let's go on to the daily chart. Starting off, let's actually go into the weekly time frame. Very much bullish, right? On a weekly time frame perspective, we are above. Every single dip so far has been bought up, so the weekly time frame is bullish. Daily time frame very much still intact here as well. Every single dip is being bought up on the QQQ. Daily time frame, as you can see here, is fairly bullish. If you go into the hourly time frame, even the hourly levels are holding up. So the key levels that I have marked out is our 668. Other key levels that I have marked out here as well is going to be that 678. So as you can see here, this is our Monday's highs, also our last week's highs here as well. As long as you can maintain above our 678, we're going to have a bullish bias here on the markets. So for the Qs, key levels coming to market open, let's just keep an eye out on that previous day highs, along with our high that we created here on Friday. So really longs are in play above our 676 going into market open, coming into market open. If we break back underneath, potentially we can see this mean reversion back down in towards that previous day close. That's only in play underneath this 676. So that's going to be the level that we're going to keep an eye out for today. As I mentioned, higher time frame is very much bullish. Would much rather look for any sort of dips to go long in the markets instead of trying to short. Yesterday, we ended up having a nice short happen with news as well. but a lot of the shorts have been a little bit more difficult. You've had a couple nice shorts here and there, but primarily the best names have been, of course, longs towards the upside. So that's what I have for the Qs coming into market open. If you go on to the NQ, very similar thesis here, right? Weekly time frame, don't really have to talk about this as much, right? Higher time frames bullish, daily chart, every single dip is being bought up so far here as well. If you go on to the hourly time frame, higher lows are being built very nicely. As you can see, nice retest off our key levels, continuation towards the upside. Key levels that we do have for the NQ coming to market open is going to be our previous day highs, along with our Friday's highs here, as long as you can maintain above this 27,920. We're going to be going long towards the upside for continuation. So this is what we have for the NQ coming to market open. Just keep an eye out on that previous day highs. Longs above our previous day highs for continuation. If we do break back underneath that previous day highs, potentially we can see a flip and a push back down in towards that previous day close. All right, so for the SPY, let's go on to the weekly time frame here as well. Higher time frames, bullish here on the weekly time frame above our previous all-time highs. Also above our previous all-time highs here on the daily. Higher lows are being built as well. If you go on to the hourly time frame, we end up having a nice retest right off our key levels yesterday, which is that 716. Super nice retest right off this key level here, and now you can see buyers are stepping in on the SPY. If you go back onto the 15-minute time frame, coming into today here, the key levels that I do have marked out on the SPY is going to be our 722. We have our previous day highs marked out. We also have our 720 here as well. So coming into market open on the SPY above our previous day highs, continuation up in towards that 724. If we come back down, we could be looking for longs off our 720 along with our higher time frame key level here as well for a potential pushback up and towards that 724. So this is what we have on the SPY coming into market open. Right, shorts are in play. Let's say if we do reject here off that previous day highs, we could see a move back down in towards our 720 and potentially that previous day close. So this is in play here for the SPY chart. As I mentioned, I'd much rather look for continuation above our previous day highs. But if we do reject, a potential scale play is in play for a pushback towards the downside. All right, let's go on to the weekly time frame here on the ES. As you can see, very much bullish here on the higher time frames. Weekly is bullish here. Daily chart is bullish as well. You can see every dip so far is being bought up on the daily time frame. If you go into the hourly chart, as you can see here, every single dip is being bought up. Key levels is our 7,200. Other levels that we have is our 7,240. You can see markets are trying to flip as we speak. Key levels that we do have marked out is going to be that 7,240. Other levels that we can have marked out is going to be that previous day highs here as well. So for the SPY coming to market open above our previous day highs, push back up in towards our all-time highs is in play, or the bounce play here off our 7,240. Push back up in towards that all-time highs here as well. So this is what we have for the SPY and the Qs, along with the ES and NQ coming to market open. What I would like to see, as I mentioned, above our previous day highs, push back up in towards our all-time highs. And of course, with the Qs showing a lot of strength here, this one is leading the markets back towards the upside. So maintain a bullish bias, especially on the Qs above our previous day highs coming to market open. All right, with that being said, let's go on to a few other tickers here. We'll go into the SMH, we'll go into the IWM, and we'll then head on to some tech names. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over, should have some time to go over a bunch here now as well. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop a like. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below as well. All right, let me grab some water here. All right, let's talk about the SMH. So the SMH is at our all-time highs here. As you can see, this one fairly bullish, as I mentioned, above our key levels. If we go into the daily chart, We filled this gap and now we're pushing back up and towards our all-time highs. Now currently on the SMH, we are right at our all-time highs. So yesterday we ended up having a nice push higher, a little bit of rejection here off that 510. Now what I'd like to see is maintain above that 510 flip for continuation towards the upside. So as you can see, we're kind of forming this mini flat top here. Higher lows are being built on the SMH. Now above our 510, continuation up and towards that 520 and above here. So this is what we have for the SMH coming into market open. That's going to be key. If we go on to the IWM, this one, very similar thing here as well. What we have marked out is our 280. So this one, a little bit of reaction yesterday. Nice little rejection off that level, but currently right back above. If we're looking at this one on the daily chart here as well, as I talked about, this is a really solid break and retest on the daily chart. What we now like to see is, of course, continuation towards the upside. So for the IWM, what we're going to have marked out here is that 280, above our 280 continuation for a pushback towards the upside. All right, with that being said, let's go on to some of the names that we have coming into market open, starting off with Tesla. So I do like Tesla here on the higher time frames, right? Let's go on to the weekly time frame. You can see this was our base original area that we broke out from. If you go back onto the daily chart here, this one is the only ticker that's kind of lagging behind. You can see most of these other tickers back at our all-time highs, Qs at our all-time highs. Tesla's the one that is lagging behind here. Key levels that we do have marked out is that 380 on the higher time frame charts. If we were to draw out our downtrend, as you can see right here, we recently broke out of our downtrend, came back to retest it. We're also reclaiming back above our key levels, 380. Now let's see if we can push back up in towards that 410 for continuation back towards the upside. So for Tesla coming into market open here, right, defending that 380, which is our higher time frame key level. As for the levels coming into market open, what are we going to have marked out at least for today? Right, so what we have here is going to be that high that we created last week on Friday. Other levels that we have marked out is that previous day highs. We can mark out that 392 here as well. So for Tesla, what we can look for today is above our 398 for continuation towards the upside. Another possible scenario is going to be the bounce off your 392 for continuation back towards the upside here as well. Regardless, I do like Tesla. Yesterday, we did have an inside bar day. So let's keep an eye out for Tesla continuation today. Yesterday, a little bit of consolidation. Let's see if we can get that bigger push today for continuation higher. So Tesla above our Friday's highs of last week, or now it's going to be the hold of this 392. So that's what we have coming into market open here, of course. So we'll keep an eye on Tesla above our previous day highs. Let's go on to Nvidia. Nvidia is the one that's really been lagging behind the overall markets. We are back in towards a key level here on the higher time frames. As you can see here, if we're looking at this on the weekly chart, recently broke outside of this consolidation. Now we're coming back to retest this level. We can keep an eye out for Nvidia low risk entry here off our previous level of resistance, now turning into support, which is exactly right off that 196. And keep an eye out for buyers to step in off this level. If we do, potentially we can see that trade back up and towards that 208 and above. So keep an eye out on Nvidia. Key levels that we do have marked out, as I mentioned, is going to be that 204. Other levels that we have marked out is going to be that 196. This is primarily based off the hourly chart, so we like to see that mini bounce here on the hourly time frame. So you would like to see buyers step in, push back up in towards that 204, or now you'd be waiting for the break back above your 204 for longs back towards the upside. So low risk off that 196, or the reclaim back above our 204 here on Nvidia. As for AMD, this one, as I mentioned, does have earnings today, so we'll be a little bit more patient on this one. We'll see what happens with earnings, of course. Key levels for AMD, we'll just mark them out, is our previous day highs, which is our 364. Other levels that we have marked out is our 352. So if you do want to see longs coming to market open above our 352, push back towards the upside. If we reject, we can see room back down in towards that 336. So this is what we have for AMD coming into market open. As I mentioned, we do have earnings tonight after close, so we'll just be waiting for after earnings on AMD. All right, let's talk about Apple. So Apple, key levels that we have marked out, we have our all-time highs. We talked about that mini gap that we can look to fill here as well, plus our earnings high. So for Apple, we are in a very key spot. If we like to see continuation back towards the upside, right, hold above our 275. So as you can see right here, this is our earnings high. This is a key level here as well. Previous level of resistance that we like to see turn into support for a potential move back towards the upside. So we'll keep an eye out on Apple. Really, there's two scenarios moving forward, right? Either the hold of this earnings high and we can see a nice reversal trade back towards the upside, or if we break underneath our 275, we can see a potential earnings reversal play actually all the way down in towards that 268. I'd like to see some upside here just based off the overall markets and the hold above our key levels here on the hourly time frame, right? That would just be that higher low here on the hourly chart. So I am more long bias here on Apple for a push back up and towards 280 here, of course, and back towards the upside. So I do like Apple here. Google looks super solid as well coming to market open. A little bit more consolidation yesterday, but for Google, the key levels that we can have marked out, we can just mark this level out. We can refine it a little bit more. It's going to be that 382. So you can see higher lows are being built so far. Potential flat top forming here as well. So if we do want to see that break above 382, continuation up in towards that 386 and above. So we'll keep an eye out on Google coming to market open here today. As for Microsoft, this one bouncing here off that 412. Let's see if we can get that earnings reversal play here as well. So a couple earnings reversal plays. Something like Tesla I do like, right? If we're looking at this one, earnings drop. Now you can see we're reclaiming back above key levels. To me, Tesla looks like a push back up in towards 400 and potentially 410 here on the higher time frames, right? Earnings reversal on Tesla. So that's going to be one of my main watches coming to market open, right? Apple end up gravitating higher. So this one, break and retest here off that 274. Where Google end up having a nice pop, so we can look for continuation above, of course, at 382. Microsoft earnings reversal play here above that 412. Meta, this one's lagging behind quite a bit. A lot more consolidation. If we do want to see any sort of potential move higher, right, reclaim back above that 620 is needed for continuation. And then, of course, Amazon, this one, nice base above, right? Hold above key levels. Yesterday, we ended up having that kind of downtrend break for a push up in towards our all-time highs. For Amazon, this one is building higher lows nicely after earnings. What we like to see now on Amazon is really the break above 276, hold above our 276 for continuation. So that's what we have for Amazon coming into market open here today. And of course, for Netflix, this one is at the low of the range, which is our 90. This one, some sellers are stepping in, lower highs are being built. If we do break underneath our 91, we can see a potential push back down in towards that full gap fill. So keep that in mind for Netflix. If we bounce off this level, we like to see a bigger buyer step in, reclaim back above 94 for a potential move back towards the upside. All right, that's what we have for some of the tech names along with the Meg 7. We do have a bunch of time here, so we'll go over a bunch of these other names here as well. So if you guys do have any charts or any tickers, you guys can now drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop a like. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below here as well. Or do you only trade big names like Amazon? Let's see. Amazon, Tesla, SPY, and Qs. No, majority of the names that we look to trade are names that have higher time frame thesis, of course. A lot of the names that we've been trading as of late, right? Semis, right? Memory names, MU, SNDK, Intel, just because they have a higher time frame thesis. Any moves, any names that do have some sort of higher time frame thesis or that look good on the daily chart, we'll look to trade. If names are kind of consolidating or not doing as much, right, we'll be a little bit more patient on them. But names like MU, SNDK, right, Intel, right, if they have some sort of higher time frame thesis, right, these are the ones that are going to have continuation towards the upside. So these are primarily the ones that we look for. All right, let's go on to a few other names here. So Palantir, this one had earnings yesterday, didn't really do too much. So if we're looking at this on the daily chart, still kind of consolidating inside of this range. Earnings, very tight range here, so not too much to talk about here on Palantir. If we're looking at this one on the lower time frames, even on the hourly chart, a little bit of reaction here off that 150. Other levels that we have is our 135. I wouldn't be surprised if we can get an earnings reversal today here on Palantir. It seems like coming into market open, we are even trying to reverse here as well. So as you can see for Palantir, the key levels that we have marked out is our earnings high and earnings low. Only down about 0.1%, sorry, only down about 1% here. So most likely we're just going to get some sort of earnings reversal. Both sides, of course, are crushed here, especially the IV. There's going to be an IV crush coming to market open. And of course, both sides are going to lose here. So a lot of the earnings, unless you have a big move to either side, there's just going to kind of have a mini mean reversion. So in this case for Palantir, I'll be a little bit more hands off within the first 10 to 15 minutes. If you do want to see some sort of potential earnings play, I'd personally like to see it right back above your previous day lows at a minimum if you do want to trade this back towards the upside. All right, let's go on to a few other tickers here. AVGO, this one looks good in my opinion, above our previous all-time highs. So as you can see right here, higher lows are being built on the daily chart. AVGO, a little bit more consolidation. We are basing above our previous all-time highs here as well. If you look at this one on the hourly chart, a little bit more consolidation, but if you're looking at this one on the daily time frame, this one looks fairly solid, right? Big push towards the upside, higher lows are being built, kind of forming this mini daily flag here as well. We can keep an eye on AVGO for a push back up and towards our all-time highs. So as long as you can maintain above, really now it's going to be this 400 key psych, preferably just build up these higher lows on the daily, break above our previous day highs, continuation towards the upside. So for AVGO, the key levels that I do have marked out is going to be, of course, that previous day highs. Let me actually just refine some of the levels here that I do have for AVGO. But what I have here is going to be that previous day highs. We can mark this out, drag it over, and we also have our 418. So coming into market open here on AVGO, we can keep an eye out on the bounce here off that 418 previous day close, or of course above our previous day highs, push up in towards our all-time highs coming into market open. MU, this one continue to show some strength towards the upside. Really solid name. This one along with SNDK showing some strength yesterday. If you're looking at this one on the weekly time frame, we've talked about this one. This is our first gap here on the weekly time frame. So finally we're seeing an extension here on MU. So as you can see here, most of the times whenever we push higher, we usually either have a gap, we come back down and fill the gap for continuation. This is the first day so far that we're having a gap and go on the daily chart. So we're going to have kind of a potential blow off the top move here on MU fairly soon, right? 600 is actually already hit here in the pre-market. We can see another extension back towards the upside. So we are getting our potential kind of blow off the top move here on MU fairly soon. So as you can see here, gap above, and we're having continuation. Now we're just going to mark out our previous day highs. So every single previous day highs, we are just going to have marked out now. So key levels is going to be our 590. That is our previous day highs. So if you want to see continuation now above our previous day highs for a push towards the upside, another possible scenario here is going to be above our pre-market highs for continuation higher here as well. So two scenarios on MU for continuation towards the upside. Right, this one is very bullish just based off the higher time frames. As long as you can maintain above key levels, this one's going to see a push higher here as well. So MU above your previous day highs for a push higher. SNDK, fairly similar thing here, right? Nice extension towards the upside here as well. Weekly chart, fairly similar thesis, right? Any gaps that we do have are now usually being filled, but as you can see in this case, this one is right gapping and pushing towards the upside. So very similar thesis to MU. This one is above our previous day highs. As long as you can maintain above your previous day highs, you're going to be looking for continuation higher. So key levels that you're going to have marked out. In this case, is going to be that previous day highs level, 1270, maintain above 1270, continuation towards the upside. So that's what we have for SNDK. Intel, this one looks good here as well. Every single dip is being bought up on Intel. Higher lows here on the daily chart ever since earnings here as well. Right, we've had almost every single day has been bullish. Right, yesterday a little bit of a pullback, right, inside bar day, but immediately back up in towards our 100 key psych. So for Intel coming into market open, we really have two key levels. Exact same thing as yesterday. You can see yesterday a little bit of rejection, came back down in towards that 95. Now we are gapping back up in towards our 100 key psych. If we do want to see continuation above our 100 key psych or the potential gap fill and bounce here off that 95 for continuation. Regardless, on Intel, this one looks solid. We need it above our 100 key psych, hold above 100 for continuation higher. What I don't want to see here on Intel is the break above, rejection. We could see a little bit of a mean reversion, but the break above hold will send this up in towards 102 and potentially higher here on Intel. WDC, this one recently had earnings with SNDK here, of course. This one, nice push towards the upside. Now we like to see maintain above 450 for continuation towards the highs, above our previous day highs here, along with this earnings high. So keep an eye out on break and retest here. WDC above our 450. TSM, this one looks good here on the hourly time frame, still building up these higher lows. We need TSM now back above our 404. Continuation up and towards our all-time highs is, of course, here in play. So that was a decent amount of tickers, right? As I mentioned, we had MU, a lot of these memory, plus semiconductors as well. There's a bunch of other names that look solid, right? CRWV trying to break above key levels here. That one looks good towards the upside. You have other couple names here as well. Circle. Yesterday, we end up having a nice gap and go towards the upside on this ticker. A couple Bitcoin tickers are pushing back towards the high. So Bitcoin, a lot of names that had been beaten down quite a bit. So names like Tesla, right, Palantir, a couple of these names like MSTR, Coin, right, Circle, right, potentially Bitcoin flipping here as well. So this one has been lagging the overall markets, but as you can see right here, higher lows are being built. We have this retest here off our previous all-time highs. So as you can see here for Bitcoin, the reclaim back above our 81 can send this back towards the upside. So a couple of these Bitcoin names look fairly good. Yeah, MSTR and Coin does have earnings. Coin has earnings on Thursday, but a couple names are shaping up fairly nicely here. So we can see a mean reversion on Bitcoin, of course, and we can see a mean reversion on a lot of these other names here as well. And then for other tickers, right, we have like MP basing off our previous all-time highs key levels. So we have a couple tickers to keep an eye out for. Even MBIS, this is the one that was super solid right off our previous all-time highs. A really classic retest right off that 140. So this one was fairly solid, back up and towards our all-time highs. One of the nicer names in the past couple of sessions. Yeah, let's go over the game plan once more coming to market open. So coming into today, as I mentioned, we are above our previous day highs. Let me actually just refine my levels here, and we'll change this color. So coming into market open here, the game plan here on the major indices, specifically on the Qs, is to maintain a bullish bias above our previous day highs. Right, what we like to see, right, currently we are above it in the pre-market, come back down, retest, buyer step in for continuation. Right, let's say within the first 5 minutes of market open, we just drop and there's no buyers that step in, then we're going to be a little bit more neutral. But if we can have a potential pullback and buyers can step in here, we're going to have that bullish bias. For the SPY coming to market open here, previous day highs is going to be key. As I mentioned, above our previous day highs, continuation up and towards our all-time highs. Or if it rejects, we can be looking for the bounce play here off that 720 for that push back up and towards the highs here as well. My main watch is coming to market open Tesla. Right, Tesla inside bar day yesterday, as I talked about. Plus, we have this earnings reversal play here as well. Tesla above our 397.50 for continuation, or the bounce play here off our 392 for a push up and towards our 400 and potentially this 407. We'll keep an eye on Tesla. This one's showing a decent amount of strength here in the pre-market here as well. Nvidia, not that interested in this one. AMD, this one has earnings tonight, so I'll be a little bit more patient on Nvidia and AMD today. As for Apple, potential hourly higher low is going to be built above our previous resistance, turn into support level. So keep an eye on Apple potential bounce here off that 275. Google, we do have this potential flat top forming here as well. So let's keep an eye out on Google above our 382 for continuation. Microsoft earnings reversal play here as well. It's going to be the bounce here off our 412 or above our previous day highs, preferably above our previous day highs for continuation. And then for other tickers, Meta consolidating, Amazon longs above our previous day highs are in play. And then for Netflix, this one's basically at the low. So the best looking tickers, at least on the tech side, Tesla, Apple, and Google, right? Tesla in specific. And then, of course, really the semiconductors are continuing to show some strength, plus these memory tickers. So MU leading the markets higher above our previous day highs for, of course, continuation. Other possible scenario above your pre-market highs, SNDK above your previous day highs here as well for continuation towards the upside. Intel, this one might be a little bit more trickier to trade just because we're having a gap up into resistance, but Intel is one of my favorite names above our 100 key psych for continuation, or right, we could come all the way back down in towards our 96 and still be very bullish for continuation. So we'll keep an eye on Intel coming to market open here. And then for other names, right, WDC above your 448, right, TSM looks good back above your 404. So basically, the game plan is the same throughout the past couple of weeks. Any sort of major dip that we have in the markets, we are going to look long. I like Tesla today, as I mentioned, for potential earnings reversal play. Yeah, besides that, we'll keep an eye out on some of the semiconductors along with the memory. Intel looks good above our 100 key strike level here as well. So continue basically doing what's working in the market is longing memory, longing semis, and just looking for major dips for continuation. We do have some more earnings tonight, which is to keep an eye out for. So let's keep an eye out for AMD, SMCI reporting tonight as well. That should impact the market. We'll see how that impacts some of the semiconductors that we do have. But yeah, besides that, that is most likely going to be it for me today. I'm going to call it a session here. So hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you did, appreciate it if you guys drop a like and sub. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. All right, take care, everyone. Peace.